Thank you, Terry. All right, so if you were at our Connected Agent class in the Grand Rapids region yesterday, we kind of went over this, so this might be review for you, but always good to kind of look at this again. Make sure here my screen sharing. Pull this over here. All right, so I know we've talked about, the interface of Google Gemini before, but just real quick, if you want to get into it, easiest way to do it is right here through your email. Click on Google Apps and go to the Gemini button down here. What we're going to look at today is the gems, and something I think is kind of important is personalizing your AI so that it can sound and act more like you. Have any of you ever gone out to, let's say, Facebook or Instagram, and you look at a post someone put out there and you're like, that doesn't sound like them, or that looks like maybe they use AI to generate that? So I'm going to ask you a couple questions. Are there any things that you see in posts like that that are kind of like red flags that, oh, maybe AI did that? Anything you could think of?
Emojis.
Emojis is one, right? Usually when you ask AI to do something, there's all kinds of emojis in it. So that's one good one. What's another?
I always like when they use words that I know that person would never use in their vocabulary,
right?
Like 14 syllable words. And I'm like, no, you didn't go to Princeton. You don't know that word.
You're right. Or they do, it's like 6 descriptive words to explain one other word, something like that.
Yep, that's a good one too.
One other one that I notice a lot too, I don't know if you guys have noticed this trend, it seems to use a lot of dashes. Instead of like commas and things like that. I'm like, nobody uses dashes. Who uses dashes? But I see Brenda raising her hand. Well, maybe yours should use dashes then. That's why we're going to personalize it. All right, so what we're going to look at is actually a gem that I created. So I took a class on personalizing your AI assistant about 2-3 weeks ago now, and I thought it was really good. So I wanted to kind of bring some of the points that I learned in that class to you guys. Most of that was using ChatGPT and Claude, so I've kind of developed a Gemini version of that. So what we're going to look at is, instead of just going right here to the regular prompt, we're going to go right over here on the left to gems. Now, we've had a couple issues with some agents not being able to access gems. If you or any agents in your office that have that issue, let us know. It's usually send an email to Carrie and it's fixed within 5 minutes, so it's not a big deal. So we're going to go over here to gems, and these are all the gems that I have right now. Now, gems are, we don't have to overcomplicate this. It's basically a version of Gemini, and you've given it a set of instructions that it can repeat every single day. So you don't have to give it that prompt every time you want to use it, right? So I have some for, doing CMAs. I have some for doing bio writing. I have one that's got instructions on how to do an AI headshot. So it's basically just, you give it a prompt, it remembers that prompt, and it can repeat itself every time you need to use it. Okay. The one we're going to look at today is this AI assistant for agents. And this one is pre-programmed with 30 questions. Now I have all the questions right here in a Google Doc, and I did this because I know we don't just have agents on the call today. We have RSCs and ASCs and other employees of the Schmidt company, right? So if you would like these 30 questions and you want to kind of tailor them more to your role, so maybe instead of, what is your ideal price range, right? You could get rid of that question, or you could have it ask you a different question. So it's very easy to customize this, right? Whether you're using it as a real estate agent or an ASC or RSC, you want your AI to sound more like you, so you don't have to edit its responses quite as much. Okay. So with this one, we're just going to act. Let's just say we're getting started as a new agent. All I have to do to ask this is, well, let's get started. And what it's going to do is it's going to prompt me to answer the first question. Now, we're not going to go through all 30 questions, but I at least want to just show you how this works, because I can share this gem with you. It's just a link I can send to you, and you can start to play with this yourself. All right, so here it is. I'm thrilled to step in as your personal dedicated AI assistant. Building the personalized brand profile is the best way to ensure all future marketing, listing scripts, and social media posts sound exactly like you. So I have all 30 questions ready and understand exactly how you want the final My Realtor profile formatted. So it's good to save this right here, because if I were to go later on after I complete this and say, hey, bring up my AI Realtor profile, it can bring up your answers to all 30 of those questions. If there's something you're not liking about it, you can adjust it. Like the one that I did, for some reason, it kept using the word predictability in all of my scripts. And like, I don't use the word predictability. It sounds like a word an AI would use. So I said, no more predictability words. Let's take that out of the vocabulary, and it did. So question number one, right? Easy. What's your first name? Full name. Right. Once I answer that, it should prompt me to answer the second question. And you could probably, if you wanted to, switch this to the faster version while you're just answering these questions. All right, so what company or brokerage are you with? Awesome. So now next question. The first section is kind of just generic, right? Name, job description, title, role, those kind of things. Let's throw a curveball. I'll give it 2. All right, so what's your team name? I have a question. Go ahead and just jump in there. I can't see who it is. Brenda?
Yeah. Do you have to change from pro to flash after every question, or if you do it at the start, will it?
I think if you do it at the start, it's going to hold, because you can see I just changed it and now it's still there. See how it's popping up those questions much quicker now.
Mm-hmm.
I have been in for 8 years now, almost 8 years, I think. So let's jump this ahead a little bit so I can just give you an idea of what the rest of the questions look like. All right, so it's going to show us, these are the ones that have been logged so far. So we have questions 6 through 30 still, and it's going to jump into some more specifics about you. Like this one's big. What's your tone, communication style? What do you want people to feel when they see your marketing or meet you? What are your brand colors or visual styles? I want to point this one out because if you have some examples, that the marketing team's created for you that you've used on social media before, you can just grab those, and when it asks you this question, just hit the upload button and drop those right in, and it will remember that. It'll save those as examples. Describe your personality in 3 words, your hobbies and interests, right? So the whole goal here is, let's say we've finished all of these questions. You can see over here on the left, once I've done that, I want to keep this chat active. right? I want to keep developing this over time. Every time I have a open house and I have a marketing material that was created for it, I want to drop that in here. The more examples you give it, the more it will refine it. I've got it to the point with mine. And I can show you some examples here. It's not perfect yet, but it's getting better. I just started this one. Oh, let's show you. Scroll up here a little bit. So this one is a listing that I have in Byron Center. Still some things I need to work on with it, but all I did was ask it to create me an open house post that I can put on social media. I didn't give it any of this logo stuff down here. I didn't give it any of the Cole Banker Schmidt stuff. I didn't give it my headshot, my name or phone number. It pulled all of that from previous examples that I had given it. Right. So if you continue to teach this and show it what you like and what you don't like, you can get to the point where you give it one sentence. I need an open house flyer for X listing. Here's my MLS. Here's the MLS number. Here's the you could do the detail page or something from the MLS to give it some details on the home, and it will pop something out like this within 30 seconds.
Jason, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So if an ASC is doing Facebook for an office, can they customize that, for an office rather than an individual?
100%. Yep. You would just answer those questions kind of with the tone and the theme that you would want the office Facebook page to sound like.
Okay.
And that may be a discussion that, if we have multiple people doing that, maybe we share that profile with the multiple people and you guys all kind of have the same tone and theme and sound when you're putting those posts out there.
Perfect. That's what I was thinking. Okay. Thank you.
Hey, Don, go ahead.
Yeah, just piggyback on what Lynn said, this could potentially replace Canva or work side by side with Canva.
Yeah, it can work side by side with Canva for sure. Yep.
Yeah, because I was thinking there was things that we can create in there and drop into this, and it
Right.
will, like you said, get to know us, get to know, like, because the company spent so much time working on those templates for us. So dropping them in here might be faster.
Yep.
And
So what I would do is
okay.
I would start with Canva and get the templates that you really like, and then use
Right.
those as examples to drop in here, and it can replicate for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And then this will do it faster for us, and it'll get to know, like Lynn was saying, what we do for our Facebook page and everything, and it'll produce it faster for us, possibly. I like it.
So let me show you just, so we did the questions. I showed you some examples from mine and how mine's kind of developing, but let me show you. So this is a listing description for one of my, as you can see right here. I told it to stop using this word after this post here, but it's starting to sound a little bit more like me. There's no emojis. There's not a ton of like dashes. There's not a ton of descriptive words that I wouldn't use. This sounds a little bit more like me. I think if you read this online, it would be a little more challenging for you to decipher if this was AI or not. Now let me show you the difference here. So let's grab just a new chat prompt. We're going to upload. I think this is a draft from yesterday. Let me just verify. No. Well, let's just say this is a new listing going today. Can you give me a new listing description? Now, this is just a generic prompt. This is not one over here that we've continued to develop over time. So this should pick out some of the things that we were just talking about that usually you can tell. It might not do emojis just because I think it knows that you can't do that with listing descriptions. But here are some of the things we were talking about, right? So here's those dashes. For some reason, I'm always seeing those. I mean, this isn't terrible, but again, like I'm not going to say something like the ultimate spot for summer barbecues while overlooking your sprawling backyard. That doesn't sound like something I would say. But, so keep in mind, if you go to just new
Jason?
chat,
Jason, when that's not something you say now, what would your response be to that? Like when you type something in, how
would I answer that one?
yeah.
That's a good question. I'd probably go back to my profile. You can refine it with the chat too, right? The whole goal here with what we're doing is that you don't have to do that, right? If you give it the right answers up front. But what I would answer that one, I would say, let's use it in more of a professional tone. Let's use less descriptive words. And you just have to refine it until you get the example that you like. So if you use just a generic new chat prompt, it's not going to remember your AI profile. So each one of these chats is like, what's the best way to describe it? A different instance or a different AI, right? It's not going to remember your responses from other chats that you have with it. So that's why it's important once you go to Gems, you open your AI assistant and you start to answer all 30 of these questions. You want to save this this recent chat. So what you do over here on the right, so let's say it's this one right here, building your AI realtor profile. This is the one that we did this morning. I don't want this to get lost because it's going to save all of your chats. There's no way to delete them yet that I have seen. There's 3 options. You can share it, you can rename it, and you can pin it. What I would do first is I would pin it to the top and I would rename it. My personal AI assistant or something like that, something you're going to remember. And what it's going to do is it's going to stick that right to the top of your chat list up there so it won't go away. That way, anytime you want to use it, anytime you want to go in here, maybe you think of, all right, I got a great question that can ask me to refine its personality a little bit. You can continue to develop that right in here, and you'll always have the chat history too. Now, the cool thing about this as well, if I go to, like this is mine, if I go on here to the bottom, I think I can just say, show me my AI profile. For the sake of time, I'm going to stop that a minute. Switch this to Flash.
Hey, Jason, while that one's filling, this seems like this would be a fun lunch and learn with a few agents to help them build their AI assistant.
Yep, I agree. I agree. So here you go. So here's the cool thing about this. If you just ask it, you've got your chat pinned over here. It's going to remember all your answers, right? So here it's got, my core identity and professional footprint. It's got my voice and tone, my core pillars, my visual branding. So it's got some files that I've dropped in there. Some information on where I work. What I like to do in terms of marketing channels. I like to do newsletters, emails, client success stories. So once you're done, ask it for your profile and just kind of read through everything. Make sure that sounds correct. If there's anything you want to adjust, you can always adjust that. Now, I would say one thing to do, just in case we have something that happens during an update or something like that, is grab this, right-click and copy it. Open a new tab and go to docs.google.com. Open a blank document and paste it in there and save this as my AI profile. Then you have it. You don't have to worry about losing it. I haven't lost anything yet on Gemini, but you never know, right? Stuff happens with updates and things like that. So it's always good to save so you don't have to go back and answer all these questions again. That way, if you were to ever lose this chat here, you can just open up Gems, grab your AI assistant again here, and just say, here are all the answers to your questions. And paste it in there. And it will start your profile over again. That's now has it locked and calibrated. So any questions on any of this so far? I know we kind of went over that pretty quick, but I think it's really important if you're going to do one thing in Google Gemini, because you want to use it for marketing or just speeding up email responses, start with this, because this will make it so you don't have to edit the responses or have that back and forth with it quite as much. And I would be happy to do a lunch and learn with this if we can get some agents that would like to do this. And the goal, I guess, by the end of the class would be to have this done and saved.
Great. Do you guys have any other questions for Jason? If you're looking for his contact information, you can find it in Schmidt Resources, I believe, or reach out to me and I can get it to you guys. So if you are interested in setting up that lunch and learn, just get with your managers and get with Lynn and then get with Jason. So thanks for your time today, Jason. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Carrie. I believe we have on Schmidt Resources under technology and then AI tools and resources, we have a gem button in there. This will be our first saved gem in there. So if you want a copy of this, what we went over today, it will be in there.